Today is 813 day that I'm here to listen, so learn. I'm learning how this will support your dreams, your goals, allow you to become the person that you want to become. Today I want to speak about the past. And I truly believe that today's lesson will really change your relationship with the past. Because it's very, very important to understand that if your past doesn't change, when you live your life day by day and your past doesn't change, that means that it might be that you're not growing, you're not improving. So what do I mean by that? Now, when you give exactly the same problem to one person to another person, one person says that it is a massive problem, other person will say it's a minor problem. And what is that? Why is that? One person sees exactly the same problem as one person as a massive problem, other one is tiny. It's based on their understanding, based on their perspective, based on their courage, knowledge, and everything. So that means a person who is most likely a little bit less experienced, less wise, will see this problem as a massive problem because he doesn't know how to solve it, because he is very narrow-minded looking at that problem. But a person who has much more wisdom, much more knowledge, much more experiences is able to step away, and from far away, that problem seems small. Exactly the same like with everything. Like, I don't know if you've ever been in a soccer or basketball game. If you are at the top, the people seem so small because you are far away. Exactly the same with every single problem. When you're able to step out and look from the problem from far away, the problem becomes smaller. That means that every single time when you look into the past as well, like exactly the same thing with past failures and past successes. So if we grow, get bigger and bigger and bigger, the problem gets farther and farther away and becomes smaller and smaller, and now you know exactly actually how big the problem is, because sometimes we make problems bigger because we constantly think about it, and in our mind it looks much bigger. Today we'll focus more on the failures and on the successes. So what happens? Why we need to always reflect to make sure that we understand that those past failures and past successes needs to change, needs to improve, needs to get better. So first one is just that a lot of times when we think about our failures, our successes, we're able to see that as a failure or success when we change priorities. So that means we live our lives, we pursue something, and now we change our priorities, and because our priorities change, those successes or failures seems much smaller. For example, that you used to play basketball, but now you want to play baseball or anything else. So that means priorities changed. So past failures in one thing or past successes in one thing will not transfer to that other thing. So for example, if you were amazing basketball player, the successes in the basketball will not transfer into baseball. Now, of course, there will be athlete, there will be some transfer of skills, but at the same time, the successes in one field will not transfer to other field. And everything in life is like this. So when you think about your past failures, past successes, you will not be able to transfer multiple things in other area. And this is good because that means that we do not make successes as a massive, because every single time when you change priority, those massive successes becomes small. Number two is continuous growth. And this is probably one of the most important parts. We need to understand that when we grow, past failures become smaller, past successes become smaller. Let's look into the public speaking example. Like, you were not able to speak in front of one person. Now you were able to speak in front of one person, and you see massive success. Now you're able to speak in front of 20 people, and it seems that massive success. If you're not able to speak in front of people, you're not able to articulate your ideas, but now you're speaking in front of 20 people. Massive. Now, like a year went by, now you speak in front of 1,000 people. So that 20 becomes so small. Now the 1,000, it seems massive, like it's a massive amount of people. Now 1 year go by, and now you speak in front of 5,000 people. So that means that when you grow, your successes, past success that were massive at the moment, becomes very small, because your new goal became much more bigger. Exactly with failures. Potentially you failed something very massively. You failed speaking in front of 15 people, but because you grew, you improved, now you're able to speak in front of 1,000 people, and you killed it. So it means past failures, when you grow, doesn't seem that big anymore as well. So growing is very, very important, because when you change your identity, that is very important to understand. And sometimes when we have a meaning of success or meaning of the past, when we grow, we're able to change that meaning because we change completely. So that means that if your past doesn't change, that means that maybe you're not growing enough. Because when you grow, when you re-reflect on your past, because I think that we're supposed to sometimes reflect and back into the things that they hurt. Because a lot of times when you grew enough, you understand that those things that was in the past is not able to hurt you anymore, because you were a totally different person. When I think about our body, every single cell in our body, physical body, is changed over 1 year. So that means that if you're 24, so by 25 it will be totally new body. So that means that exactly the same I think that is supposed to be with our mental state. We need to really make sure that ourselves, we re-engage ourselves, re-reflect, and rebuild ourselves to make sure that we're a totally different person every single year as well. Number three is increased expectations. It might be that you expected one thing, but now because you expected much more, those things that in the past seems much, much more. So I think that it's very, very important to work towards increasing expectations, work towards making sure that you expect the best. Now, of course, you prepare for the worst, but expect the best. I truly believe that, because when you expect the best, your actions will show up because you expect that. Because if you expect to lose, of course, it's very hard to do your best when you expect to lose. Number four is broader perspective, and this is very, very important. This is already be covered a little bit. If you put yourself out of the picture and you're able to see from far, far away the problem, the failure, the success, you're able to see that maybe it was not that big as you thought. It's not that big as you thought. It's very, very important to understand that when you are thinking that something is very, very massive, we need to really say that, okay, maybe my perspective is too small at the moment. And you need to ask, how am I able to broaden my perspective? And one of the best ways is to really ask someone who is amazing in that field, who is expert in that field, and a mentor, a guide, a coach, who could really allow you to step back a little bit and really share their perspective and really learn from their perspective, that you broaden your perspective. Number five is humble reflection. So that means that, of course, if you want to look into the past successes, we're not supposed to say that, 20 years ago, I won the medal. No, that's when we really humbly reflecting what we did in the last 20 years, that we could be worthy of saying that was a worthy win. Now, it was a great achievement, but what did you do now in the last 10 years, in 15 years, and in 5 years to really be worthy of saying, I grew. This is a little bit better, because we're supposed to strive for improve our successes. So then that's where our successes were. And now we need to make a little bit better success, and a little bit better success, and a little bit better. Because if we say that this was 20 years was the biggest success ever, that means all those successes I know is a little bit more than this one. So it means that maybe we're not growing, maybe even deducting from our growth. Number six is adversity and setback. Adversity and setback. So that means a lot of times I think that when we're able to really go through adversity and our setback, I think that allows really to really focus on that five humble reflection. We need to reflect what happened and what we're able to do differently, and all the successes and failures, and learn from those and really improve. Because I truly believe that adversity is one of the best things that every person could experience. Because adversity is building everything: character, resilience, gives you energy, because you don't have any other option. You are put at the back, your back to the wall, and there is no other way just moving forward. Because a lot of times people live very comfortably, and they live uncomfortable enough or comfortable enough to stay in that spot. But when you are going through adversity and setback, and when you choose to go for that is a massive, massive, massive win forward. And all the things that seem in the past was big, like failures or successes, during setback or adversity, all those things becomes much, much smaller. Number seven is evolving, the evolving definition of success. That means that when you think about life, because you're growing, your identity changes, you experience different kind of people, you see how different people live, and are you able to mold your success? What success means to you? And when you know exactly what success means to you, like maybe your definition of success changed. And because your definition of success changed, your definition of failure changed, all the things that was defined as failures or success will change. It's so interesting that when you change definition of success, definition of failures, you review your past and realize that maybe you counted 10 failures and 3 successes. But now after you defined your failure, define your success differently, it might be that there was like only 1 failure and maybe it was like 5 successes. Because your successes could be now because the definition is different, maybe building a relationship with somebody was a massive win. And you didn't count it as building a relationship as success for you. So that means when you define success as a building relationship, now you look into what kind of relationships you build, and you start, oh, this was amazing success. I built an amazing relationship with this person, and it's an amazing success. That's why when you review the past, the new definition of success, your successes could increase in number. That's a massive. So it means if you really want to increase your past successes, look, maybe you're able to change your definition of success, but of course that doesn't need to be meaningful, not just randomly creating. That's something that you could increase success number. And the last one, number 8, is cycle of life. Cycle of life. That means when you build a life, we will have ups and downs, ups and downs. And the more you have those cycles, you realize that there will always be more successes in one season, some a bit more failures. Some is winter season, some is summer seasons. And when you know that, all those failures and wins becomes a little bit smaller because you know that this is just a part of life. So you seek every single year to get better. You seek to improve. You seek get better. You seek to become the best version of you. But at the same time, if something doesn't happen or happens not in the way that you expected or wanted, you know that this is just a part of life, and all those disappointments doesn't get you as much because people are like, I didn't want that. When people really don't have the understanding of cycle of life, they tend to quit. This is not for me, and this is just will be my failure, and I will pursue something else. No, but when you understand that this is just cycle, you need to really work very hard of planting seeds in the spring that in the summer and you can harvest. And that's what people need to wait. And a lot of times people do not wait because they just do not have understanding of that. So I hope that you will reflect, because the biggest thing of today I really want to make sure that you don't miss is that when you change yourself, when you improve yourself, when you change the definition of success or your priorities, your past failures or successes becomes much, much smaller, or it could be increasing or decreasing in number. So I hope you choose to win, and see you tomorrow.